One thing they could do to lessen the blow for people who do want to play PlayStation 1, 2, or 3 games on the PS4 is if the amount that you put towards the game could count towards purchase
your actual
game
purchase of the game if you were to
purchase it.
purchase
Because GameFly actually does that. You can rent the game, and if you've rented it, you can buy it at a reduced price.
That would make sense. Yeah, this game is $25 for the full game, not at sale price. You just spent $10. Oh, now you want to purchase it? Okay, you only have to pay the remaining $15.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense. A lot of people would probably go for that.
Well,
especially for that Final Fantasy 13. I'm gonna spend $5, play this for 4 hours. Yeah, I want to keep playing.
Well, that's a loop. That's kind of like PlayStation Store when their stuff's not on sale, the prices are pretty awful. So, I mean, they could really.
On the game.
No, I mean, I'm just gonna go on another tangent here. I mean, we talk about games. We beat the dead horse that is Sony. There's other things that we discuss.
Where's Dynasty Warriors one for $1?
We're a very diverse group of nerd culture, and there was something that was something I wanted to talk about, and I was sitting here for like 15 minutes trying to remember what it was. So I'm going to completely take away games.
Go for it.
We have an Aquaman.
Yeah, we do have an Aquaman.
We have an Aquaman. We have an Aquaman. We have Khal Drogo as Aquaman, and I sat there for about 30 minutes reading it, going, he's going to be Aquaman. And we have a Justice League. We don't have a Justice League movie, but we have a Justice League movie.
Right? Yeah, Batman vs Superman is the Justice League.
We're gonna move the conversation over to comics and movies, and I just have to ask, Aquaman, yay or nay?
I think it's awesome. I fucking hate Aquaman, but when I saw that he was the one that got picked for it, I was like, damn, that's awesome.
I was on board when Aquaman was going to be a comedic satire. I thought it was going to be Will Ferrell as Aquaman.
Has anybody seen my trout? I can't seem to find my trout.
He was going to arrive with a chorus of dolphins in the background and fight crime.
I would have
be flaming beyond belief.
Honestly, if that was the case, then we should have just got Patrick Harris for Aquaman, because
he's too good.
He's too good. I know.
He's too good to be something that bad.
He should have been in your legendary game.
It'll be Under the Sea 2.0 with Neil Patrick Harris as Aquaman.
Yeah, I do think that the casting was fantastic on that one. It's really what they needed is they need to get their casting, because I'm not really in the Batman camp right now, but that was something that really polarized everything.
I think of that, and my opinion on that is they always could have got somebody worse to be Batman.
There's always a worse option. There's always a
worse option.
There's always a worse option. They could ask George Clooney to do it again.
I would watch it if George Clooney was on it again, as long as there were nipples on the bat suit.
At least it wasn't Matt Damon, am I right?
As Robin, come on. Come on now. Let's do it.
But, George Clooney himself believes that he was the worst Batman. Like, that's his own words. He's like, I should not have been Batman.
Back to Aquaman. Yeah. All jokes aside, I am on board for a darker look at Aquaman.
Did they
where Aquaman's not, the little pansy, and I can only talk to fish.
So are they going with like the restrained Aquaman of like, I can do water magic and I can kill Superman?
I do believe. Well, their thing right now is everything's grounded in reality and stuff. So I don't think he'll have like magic stuff. But I think he'll be a lot cooler than I can talk to fish.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
And that is about it.
You can't do grounded in reality and then have Superman in
exactly.
it.
Well, but
that doesn't work. No, I came from an alien planet, and I can fly.
But the way they pulled it off is gritty and dark and like grounded in reality. Like, this is how the people would react to him, and his past is so dark. And I mean, that's how their thing is going. So I don't think Aquaman's gonna be like some pushover.
He's not gonna be blonde though.
I mean,
did they say he's not going to be blonde? They could still.
They can't make him.
They could.
But at least he's tan.
It would not look right.
It makes a bit more sense that he's like an Icelandic.
I've been watching Jason Momoa since Stargate.
Yeah.
There's no way you can make.
They could make it like a really dark, dirty blonde, and his hair's always gonna be wet anyway. So it's like
no, they're gonna give him like
a blonde streak.
No, they're gonna give him like iced bro tips. And I'm gonna walk out of the theater.
Guys, you just throw your popcorn at the nearest wall.
We tried to appeal to the younger hip audience.
I would like it if we could see Aquaman with a mystic power, because I like that. storyline for him of having the ancient mystical art of actually being able to control more than just the fish. Hey, look, there's a minnow. I'm gonna make it jump in your face.
Like, honestly, I don't
being able to control,
that.
turn that into a whirlpool.
But I'm a big fan of Aqualad, the direction that they went with him.
I love Aqualad.
The water construct thing.
Exactly, but I mean, and he learns that along with other, with his schoolmates. That was a study of an ancient art, and I like that direction. And I mean, the person instructing him is Aquaman's wife. So I mean, that power exists.
Now,
and I like where it's going, and it makes Aquaman not look like a pansy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think he will have like some sort of water powers. I don't think they'll really explain it because it's not his movie. They're gonna be like, hey, there's this guy that exists. They may have like a small clip of his backstory, but they're not gonna say mystical arts and stuff. But they'll be like, he can control like water, and he can summon fish, and he can swim super fast.
He can do like a water
stuff like
whip.
that.
Because we don't want to tiptoe the fine line between Green Lantern and Aquaman.
Well, see, that's the thing too. It's just like going with that movie with all the people they've announced so far. They've announced Superman, Batman, of course. They've announced Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
They've announced Aquaman.
Yeah.
Are they? And then they pulled.
Red Cyclone.
They pulled new actors. I mean, we're gonna get a Red Tornado.
Red
Red Tornado would be amazing.
Or,
Oh my god.
Okay, so that's one. But you got to think about the other DC characters they already have in their stable. They have a Green Arrow.
Yep.
They have a Flash.
Right.
Are they going to incorporate them to the movies? Or are they going to keep them in their television?
I think they'll keep it separate. I don't know the
I
story.
would need Flash to be a part of it,
But
just because of how prominent Flash is within the Justice League. Green
Well,
Arrow
see,
is a little bit more of a
it's
backstage.
It's not the Justice League movie yet.
I know it's not the movie, but it would be nice to at least see some kind of introduction of him at some point.
Cyborg. We also have a Cyborg.
Yeah, we have a cyborg.
Yeah.
We have a cyborg.
I forgot they added Cyborg.
Yeah, so-
Wait, if we have a Cyborg, then we definitely need to have a Flash.
Nah.
Yeah. Cyborg is young. He's younger.
Well, but I mean, it's the movies. They'll do whatever.
I know.
They were like, we need a black guy.
But now that the problem is are they going to?
We need a black guy. Let's make Nick Fury.
They were like,
black.
who's? Yeah.
Whoop, Jon Stewart. They could just completely scrap Ryan Reynolds, Hal Jordan, and just bring a
I
Jon
think.
Stewart Green
Well,
Lantern.
they said they're making a new Green Lantern movie, right? Isn't that what the rumored lists from Comic Con or whatever?
me-
was?
I would
Yeah.
like Jon Stewart as
Jon Stewart. Yes.
No, Jon Stewart.
Have Jon Stewart from The Daily Show play Jon Stewart. There you go.
that would be
You're done.
awesome. That would be
You're
epic.
done.
Oh, I got this power. I don't know what to do with it.
You're Jewish superhero.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I think what they'll.
But I would like to see him as Green Lantern just because
Can we just summon
He's-
wrist scissors
he's a
in his
very-
ring or something?
different Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Where Hal is so holistic and he's the good guy. He wants to do the right thing. And then John is like this
I'm gonna
angsty dude
crush
who
you
really
with my
doesn't
power
give a
ring.
shit about you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do the right thing, but do it my way, and it doesn't matter if somebody else gets killed in a crossfire because I got you.
Well, it's
And Donald Glover should have been Spider-Man. Just saying.
Batman versus Superman is gonna be. I mean,
with special appearances by Wonder Woman, Cyborg.
Yeah. No kidding.
it's gonna be one of those things where I think a lot of the characters they won't even really set up because we already know, and the people seeing the movies pretty much already know who they are. They're gonna be like, yeah, maybe they'll have Cyborg bring everybody together and be like, yeah, this is Wonder Woman, she's an Amazon, blah blah blah, and now we'll move on to this guy, and he's like this, and he's like this.
No,
Cool,
it's-
now you
it's
guys are a
gonna be-
team.
I'm already picturing Jason Momoa's scene in the movie, and he's just Batman's gonna be flying over some ocean, and all of a sudden Jason Momoa rides with two dolphins, just go
make a sure.
back underwater,
Back down.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then we
Cameo.
are back to Aquaman is a pansy.
It actually leads into Sharknado 4.
Yeah, that's what I was
with
gonna say.
With Aquaman.
Yeah.
Just,
I will wholeheartedly admit, anything to do with comics is not my strongest subject. I enjoy comics. I'm just not going to pretend I know any more than anyone in this room. But if you're going to do Aquaman and Jason Momoa is going to do it, then do the new 52 Injustice version of Aquaman. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be better. They have, I mean,
that he ain't let go of that trident.
the thing that really disappointed me about all the DC movies is that DC has all their characters. It's not like Marvel where it's split up between the studios and it's like, well, we can't really pull from here and this studio's making this. It's like DC has everybody under Warner Bros.
They've
or
got
whatever.
the rights
They
to everything.
They could have done so much stuff and they just didn't. And Marvel edged out despite
because
having
they-
their stuff split up.
For whatever, no, it's not whatever reason. For the most part, the DC heroes suck on their own.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
I mean,
Batman
let's
is
be
the
real.
only successful
Batman
one.
is really the only successful one,
And he's not even really technically a part of the Justice League. He's a founding
No.
member.
He's a founding member, but he
He's
kind
a-
of
Fuck
is like
you guys.
excommunicated.
Guys.
I know how to tell you guys.
But I mean, like, and Batman is still he
Yeah,
is
suck on that,
the
nerds.
biggest hero within
Still
the
a
comics
billionaire.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see Superman within that, but you primarily see Batman, nobody else, and then you see the Justice League, and the Justice League is the only other one that's really been incredibly successful. Now, DC, when it comes to their animated films, they've done
Those are phenomenal.
a really
Those are
good
really
job
good.
with all of their independent characters and doing the origin story for Hal Jordan. The Green Lantern movie, that was a really good movie, and had that been live action, that would have sold so well at the box office instead of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's just Hollywood. I
But
mean, it's Hollywood is really what kills
You
them.
take Marvel, it doesn't matter which studio it is who's got the rights to any of the characters, all of their independent origin stories and solo stories are good. And then you bring them together in the Avengers, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and the
But
best
the
part
DC
about
characters, that movie sucked.
this, and the best
Superman,
part about
that was awful.
is
Old
that
Batman,
they,
that was awful.
Yeah,
You bring them together, if we put them into the Justice League, it would probably be fine.
well, no, I was going to say the best part about the Marvel movies too is when even in the standalone ones they throw those shots at tie-ins.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're like, oh,
Because we're
this
in
is
the
a little
same
hint
universe.
here and a hint
And
here.
it's like, and we're going to see it even more prominent in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Right.
Because it's going to.
I think that's going to be.
You're going to get
Yeah.
get the Thanos nod because he's supposed to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
In Avengers 2. We're probably going to get a little bit of Infinity Gauntlet, which is another thing that you have to think about too. Marvel movies have they have the prominent bad guys. Like for the big Avengers one, like you got to think about like who would be the bad guy in the first Justice League movie when they do it. Are they going to go with the Legion of Doom? Are they going to go with Apocalypse? I mean, there's so many different.
Or will they go with Star Wars meets Marvel?
God.
Well, we're going to go to like
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Every single DC that's part of the issue with all the DC characters. You have Batman, and who's the villains? You've got Joker, Penguin, Scarecrow. I mean, he has all of his own, but you will never see those guys with Superman or Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Like,
Marvel.
it's not going to come up that way.
Marvel.
You can't combine them and be like, yo,
Yes, Superman needs his own cast of
the
villains that can
Joker
get around
is-
his retarded strength.
The
Doomsday.
Joker is going to take over
Yeah,
the
Doomsday,
world,
right.
and we all need to work together to take care of
Superman's
this because
all
we're
like,
not
"I
strong
got
enough
this."
on our own.
Yeah.
All right, problem done.
The thing
Joker's dead.
The thing about it is, like, Marvel is very. Their characters are. Origin stories are. I mean, they're not, like, cosmos based like a lot of the DC stuff is. It's
Yeah.
like. So a lot of it is like, oh, we all have to unite because I'm a dude in a metal suit, you're a dude with a shield that's got better reflexes, and you're like a giant green smashy thing. Like, nobody is from Krypton and can just, like, heat
You're
ray
the
someone's
god of
brains.
Well, you got Thor.
Yeah, so you do have Thor.
You got Thor.
But even, I mean,
But still, like, a lot of, it's like you have
Thor
Marvin
take
Martian, and you have
Thor take away
Superman, and
his hammer, and he can't fly anywhere. He's grounded. He can only do so much. Yeah, he's got super strength, but he can still only do so much. You got somebody up in the air.
yeah, Marvel's
But-
Avengers.
but-
everybody has very simplistic weaknesses.
Everything works
and
in ties in
stuff like
You gotta
together.
think though about Superman though. Hi, I'm a giant glowy green rock, and I can also do magic. Superman's just like, I'm not fighting you.
But isn't kryptonite like a hard to find element? Supposedly, it's like.
But Batman has it.
Well, of course. I mean,
And
Batman has everything.
And Batman can
It's
take
like-
out Superman.
it's like the
Batman has a
joke-
way to take out everybody. Anybody seen Doom?
That's what Batman's so.
Yeah, Batman. The joke is like, can Batman beat him? Give him prep time. Like, then
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Dr.
usually
Doom,
like-
Dr. Doom is the Lord of
Yeah.
prep time.
That's why they never you see all the screw attacks. That's why they never have one like Batman versus somebody because it's always going to be Batman.
You figure out how to make that happen. Like,
Now the only it's even if it was Batman versus a exact clone of Batman, the original Batman would
Would
still
still
win.
win.
he'd
because
figure it out.
He'd be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do this, and he doesn't know I'm not going to do this, so I'm just going to not do this. Throw him off. Batman.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, Batman.
So
Or
that's-
maybe the Justice League movie is going to be one giant snuff film where Batman is going to
He's
take
actually-
all
Kill
the-
everybody.
But I mean, that's already been done technically animated.
War.
It was in
Doom.
Doom,
Doom.
Doom.
where that's why Batman's no longer a part of the Justice League.
because they know about
from that is Batman had a
like,
way to take everybody out.
Wait, you were tracking
Now
these to
that
kill
was
us all?
that was like
Yeah.
agreed. That's been an agreed thing
Sorry.
between Batman and Superman, where Superman's like, if for whatever reason, because I'm an alien race, if I go nutso,
Kill me.
I need a way for you to get rid of me.
Yeah.
To save everybody.
Yep.
Good. However, you need a way to get rid of Diana and Green
frankly,
Lantern
if I
and
was
everybody
the-
else. Like,
If I was the only one without superpowers, I'd figure out.
Right.
Kill them all.
Yeah,
a
definitely.
way to make sure
No.
that they don't kill
I'm waving
me.
over my head here,
Let's
but I
put it
can't
like
let them
this. Let's
know.
put it like this too.
It's
Now,
a failsafe.
It's been said though, he doesn't. And it's a fine line. He doesn't kill them. He has a way to neutralize.
Yeah,
Just
of
take,
course.
like, you know,
However, enough
incapacitate.
kryptonite will kill Superman.
Yeah, but that does. But Batman's got like a sliver.
Yeah, he didn't
He's
have enough.
injecting him with it.
Apparently it wasn't enough, though.
I mean, it's not like a Lex Luthor, DC Universe Online cinematic with just the.
Oh,
spear
that was...
kryptonite.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
That cinematic's amazing.
Yeah, by the way, podcast people, just watch that.
Just
You
watch.
don't
You don't have to play
the
DC
game.
Universe.
Just watch the opening scene.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Fantastic.
It's not a giant. It's like a
It's everything
splinter
DC
of
Universe could have
kryptonite.
been.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, but I honestly believe if I was in Batman's position, all of my downtime would be, okay, whipping out the old notebook. Today it's the Wonder Twins. What are we going to do to
take out
kill the Wonder Twins?
You take out
a
the
pistol?
monkey.
We've got it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Next
Batman...
one.
Batman
You
is
only
very...
turn into water.
Batman is very close to being just like a serial killer. Like, super, super close
Well, I mean,
to
have
just
you met him? He
fucking
has no
killing
cares,
everybody.
But the
He's
money
such a
makes it a little bit
vigilante-
better.
Yeah.
Vigilante
But
hero. Of course he's gonna
serial killer who's never killed anybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm saying he's
He's
close to
saying he's on
being
the edge. He's on the
becoming
edge of
a serial
precipice.
killer that
As
just
far
knows
He's
how
a
to
serial
kill.
neutralizer.
There you go.
Yes. As far as we know, in the chronicled annals of Batman,
He
he
is-
has not killed anyone.
He is the Liam Neeson of the. That's who should be Batman. Liam
Liam
Neeson.
Neeson.
Liam Neeson would be an awesome Batman.
I watch it so hard. I watched it like 5 times.
I would love
We'd
that.
all be like, he was Ra's al Ghul. I don't give a shit. Like, fuck Batman now.
Pronounce-
New series.
Yeah.
Pronounce
New series.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my bad.
Sir.
My bad.
Sir.
You mean it's not Roz?
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul.
Roz al Ghul?
Accountant. So, Batman philosophy in comic books is he's the powerless, crime fighter. He's the one that surprisingly the most people can relate to. Like, I work out and learn martial arts, I can be Batman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do a good job at it, but I could.
I won't look as
have
cool.
to have the money.
And that was another thing too. It was just like, people were like, well, you want to act tough, like dress up as Batman. And I'm like, I can't dress up as Batman. Like, why? I'm 5'4". People are still going to kick my ass because of how Batman I look.
Like the guy with the shotgun.
Oh, man.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm still pretty 5'4". I could. I could-
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's like another thing too. Like, going back to the movie and Batfleck. The important thing to remember is, depending on how the movies go, it doesn't matter. Anyone can be a good Batman. You put on a costume and you talk like this.
Right.
You have to be a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne
That's
is...
the most, because generally you see Bruce Wayne more than you see Batman in the movies.
And I could see him playing Bruce Wayne.
He'll be a good Bruce Wayne.
He'll be a good Bruce Wayne.
Another note with that, I'm glad you bring that up with Ben Affleck, actually. I don't necessarily think he is going to be bad. Even if he is, for whatever reason, Ben Affleck is notorious, especially in the last, 8 years or so, for getting his creative input in a movie no matter what, whether he's headlining the movie or not. And he's a damn good director. I think he's a much better director than he is an actor. And if something's not working with him and Zack Snyder, and he can set him aside and say, hey, this isn't working, and Zack Snyder will give him the go-ahead to make it better, it might be a better movie because of it.
Yep,
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
director.
It's all.
No, you didn't.
I mean,
That's
we're not
just-
even going
that's
to talk
just
about.
Colin being
We're not
Colin.
even going to talk about Jesse Eisenberg being Lex Luthor. I mean, I can't
I
wrap
don't
my.
want to...
I can't wrap my fingers around that not bald head of his. And
When I saw him in The Social Network, I thought that was a freaking amazing performance. I haven't liked anything else I've seen in that.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be this breakthrough actor, just be amazing in everything, and it's just
He
not
does
the case.
passable in the movies he's in, but it's not like, man, I'm going to see this movie because Jesse Eisenberg's in it.
Yeah.
So,
no, you'd see his movie because you're going to be like, I'm going to see Jesse Eisenberg with a bald head.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I'm seeing this movie for everybody but Lex Luthor will be in it.
Yeah.
That's Jesse.
Justin Timberlake as a villain.
That'd be sweet.
That would
Riddler.
be amazing.
That'd be, yeah.
Riddler.
Let's do it.
Riddler.
Yeah, Riddler, yeah. Got
Start a
it.
petition.
Oh my God.
We need a fucking Riddler movie. Or a movie with Riddler.
With him in it.
With Riddler.
Yeah, they just...
It's really hard to...
It is very hard.
It's because, like I said, the one thing that made the Batman movies, when they pulled from the Rogues Gallery, was just like, Scarecrow was nuts.
Yeah, and he's fucking... He's not the biggest enemy, but the implications that he has in a more realistic kind of environment are vast.
I'm going to make you solve puzzles!
Yeah. Solve my riddles, Batman! Watch me rob this bank.
And I'm not Jim Carrey.
I'm going to solve this Sudoku puzzle and disarm this bomb.
Yeah. They've done a good job with him in the comics, but it's just one of those things where people don't know how to translate that to the big screen.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest issues with DC, is that it works in a comic.
Yeah.
But as soon as you try to...
But even if it was like a side facet of the movie, I wouldn't mind like just having a reference, just having a character that is the Riddler.
He's the guy at the beginning who just gets beaten the shit out of by
Exactly.
Batman, and it's like, Batman!
The biggest shot to the foot that the DC movie franchise did was kill Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
The dumbest thing that they did.
He was amazing.
He just became Two-Face.
Was that Heath Ledger was too big of a character?
Well, the logic behind I didn't get shot and I fell the same distance as the guy who did get shot.
Yeah.
They set it up
And the guy who did get shot got up immediately and hopped on a motorcycle while me, not shot, falling the same distance, lies there dead.
And I was
It's
the
awful.
douchebag.
I was in a big suit.
And I was the douchebag to all of my friends. It's like, oh, of course he's still alive. Oh yeah, he's gonna come back.
You're sitting there-
You're all dumb.
You're sitting there with
the
your
biggest
Harvard...
thing, like, don't fucking make Two-Face if you're gonna kill him in the same film.
Well, no, you sit there with your Harvard philosophy, pipe going, yes, the symbolism of the movie was that they killed Harvey Dent that night, and Two-Face still is... No, Two-Face Dent.
No, Two-Face died with Harvey Dent.
He
Like,
died.
they are one and the same.
4, Two-Face should be alive, he's dead.
Yeah,
it was the worst thing that they could have done.
It was a great movie all around, but that part was just
Because
like, dude.
what led to that was Sean Connery as Tom Hardy as Bane, which I did not like at all.
Yeah.
We need Danny DeVito as the Penguin again.
That, a fantastic role.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But I was a huge... I love Bane, like, as a villain. He's just like that, he's that good balance of not too powerful, but can become powerful, and Ecuadorian at the same time, which neither one of those were a part of the movie.
Well, he's that Sabretooth character who's misrepresented in movies at first. Well, in this case, because Sabretooth has always been a criminal mastermind, but he was a Neanderthal for a while. And Bane was a luchador for a while. A Spawn-themed luchador.
It's just that I couldn't wrap my head around. Now, like, the actor, like Tom Hardy, I'm sure would have been a great Bane if they did Bane right.
It
Oh, yeah.
would have been nice to see
He's a good
I
actor.
will go on record to say the Batman and Robin Bane was better than Tom Hardy Bane.
Yeah.
I will go on record because he was just Bane, and
He
beat
was.
the shit out of people.
He was not like... He wasn't trying to be anything else except giant.
Yeah.
Giant dude beating people up. Crushing
Just
people's
when you
spines.
play-
And this one was too...
I mean, he was also a brute, but at least he was like a well-spoken brute.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, in the comic, he is actually very smart. He's
Yes.
actually very
He
smart in
could
the
take a
comics.
speech
Like
class
Sabretooth.
from
Yeah,
the guy in the
but-
King's Speech.
You know,
I'm going to break your
Might
back,
help him.
Batman.
I will say
I'm
they
going to
didn't...
sound like this when I do it.
when-
There can be only one.
He's fucking your wife.
the first Bane
Life, you say?
the first Bane worked because even though he wasn't 100% true to his character in the comic,
He at least looked
he
like
was with Poison Ivy, and the way they integrated him in the story was fine, and it was like it made sense. Okay, cool. This one was like he's behind everything, and he's doing everything.
Now,
and he is like
luckily-
the center point of the whole
Luckily,
story.
we won't see a Poison Ivy in a Batman movie because it just takes so long to do a female character. Just,
Yeah.
there's just not enough time.
Too
to
long,
make
not
a
enough
female
time.
character.
8,000
Not
frames.
enough time to do a
Yeah.
female
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, it has to be above 100 FPS too.
Yeah.
But no, there's I mean, sadly, there's not too many other Batman villains that they can pull. They can do Raish again, they can do Penguin. They can do, Freeze.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Freeze has forever been traumatized.
Freeze would, if they did Freeze could actually work
Chill.
with more than just Batman.
Everybody just chill.
Everybody chill out.
Like if there wasn't,
You could have Freeze deal with Flash and deal with Green Lantern because it's been done before.
No, like I said, my only problem with that though is that if he doesn't say a pun every time he comes into a room,
I know.
no, like, what they need to do is they need to do
Everybody chill.
they need to do
This is Colin, everyone.
I would love it. I would love it if they took the Robot Chicken skit from the DC show and had like all 4 cold villains come out and say a cold pun. I would pay money to see that movie.
That was like the first episode of Young Justice. Was like all the cold,
All
all
the cold
the cold villains,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Why are all the cold villains doing shit?"
Because
Everybody
there's
freeze. Chill out, everybody.
So awesome.
Snow job.
Let's put you on ice.
Yeah, so it's just like Poison Ivy, Catwoman. I mean, they did Catwoman. They did Catwoman better than they could have done.
Catwoman solo movie.
Halle
They did
Berry.
that last time. Remember how well that worked out?
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
In an S&M suit that was,
Oh, yeah.
tailored to be a Catwoman.
Halle
suit.
Berry the movie.
Halle Berry.
Yep.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
No, there's the fine line of comic book. That's the worst part about being a nerd is that you have so much expectation for things.
And Top Cow exists.
And it's like you like video game movies. Like I've mastered being a nerd. Just don't expect anything to be good. That's not a
Doom.
video game.
First person sequence. Like, it's
Yeah,
just-
well, see, Doom. I knew Doom was going to be a train wreck.
Oh no, I expect all of them to be train wrecks.
Yeah.
Need for Speed. I was like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah,
Not
no.
falling for it, Hollywood.
I mean, the only one that was surpassable was just it was Avid Children. I'm not even going to say Spirits Within because that was just like that was going back to our very first discussion of let's put Final Fantasy in the title and
But
hope it sells.
just
Yeah.
a small...
Advent Children was
combat.
awesome.
But just a small aside
Advent
here.
Children's amazing.
Just a small aside here. Anime and video games sometimes they sometimes have amazing children.
That
They
can
have
work.
beautiful-
Like
Gungrave is one of the best series
Yeah, Gungrave's
I have
amazing.
ever seen.
Gungrave
It is so good.
Fantastic.
And they need to make a Heat Guy J fighter. That'd be so awesome. That'd be so good. Heat Guy J 2D fighter, EX Extreme Alpha Beta 2.
As we can
Yes.
see, Colin is a little bit behind on his anime, but it doesn't make
I would
it bad
pay-
anime.
I don't give a fuck, man. But
would-
he's so
Okay,
cool.
He can be behind on his anime since DBZ has been re-released as Dragon Ball Kai, and they're just now reaching the Buu saga.
I'll fucking buy Dragon Ball Z.
Super Saiyan God, whatever.
I just
It's Super Saiyan God.
That
Super Saiyan
cannot
God.
exist. We can pretend that one doesn't exist. Dragon Ball Z ended with Dragon Ball Z. GT and Beyond is just garbage.
I will say,
But I'm not behind.
speaking of anime video game tie-ins, I will pay money for another dot hack video game.
Dude, I
Dot
will,
hack games
nowadays,
Dot
I will
hack
pay
MMO.
fucking awesome.
No, you can't do a dot hack.
Well,
MMO.
have you seen Sword Art
Yes, you
online?
can. Have you seen Sword Art?
I've seen Sword Art. I'm just
Speaking of
saying,
Sword Art has a season 2 coming out in July.
I was just gonna say no, you can't. You can't do a sword. You can't do an MMO with that. It's too much.
I
and,
agree.
and I think it would be better.
We do
off-
have a Sword Art game coming.
No, it would be it's going to be in the dot hack environment where it's based in the game where you have companions, you play as the X main character. An MMO, there's just too much that goes on in MMO because you got to think like, well, let's put it like this: Defiance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, I mean, but
Argument invalid.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but I like the idea. Of
I would like a
flavor.
dot hack MMO of at least having. I mean, you could still have the world in the styling of dot hack. You could have all your characters in the styling of dot hack,
They would need to do
and
it.
that would be fine.
They would need to do it like they do Destiny. Give you the single player option, but give you an option to group up with one or two friends.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it MMO in the sense that like walking around the world, because that's another thing too that they
I mean, they could do it like an MMO, like MapleStory,
Or like
where you have a side
Well,
scrolling
see-
MMO. You're dealing with that. You see stuff. You see references to dot hack, and that I think that would be.
I still have to stick to my guns. I don't
Fun.
think there's enough lore, regardless of how many
Precisely.
seasons. There's
Precisely.
not enough lore to back up an MMO because you got to think, okay, the initial game's out. Now we need content patches.
Yeah, but I think there isn't enough lore with Sword Art Online. But I think there's enough flavor with Dot Hack that you could have a passable MMO.
Well, Sword Art is based off of a novel series, and that's what the second season is. It's a new arc.
How much of the novel takes place outside of the game, though?
Well, I will say with Sword Art Online, the thing about it is
I'm
it's been
sure.
going on in Japan for a while, and they've actually gone through like 3 different games now. And that's the problem. If they would have spent, instead of being in 3 different games, being in one game, they could have developed lore enough to have an MMO. But because they're in like, they start off with the medieval area, then they go to like the fairy area, and then there's a spot where they go into like a gunslaying area, and there might be even more. But
I mean,
because they go in all these different games, you can't really have a
And
cohesive
that's what this season 2,
MMO.
I think, is supposed to... I think that might be what it's encompassing, because it's the next arc within the light novel series.
another thing, too, that I will have to say is that an MMO takes a lot to do.
Oh, yeah.
An MMO is something that you just, I like I said, I think a Destiny-style game where you have single player, but you have the option to group up for dungeons would be better because there's just so much that you have to design, there's so much that you have to go through for an MMO, and like I said, I've watched a lot of .hack, and there's not enough of the world, per se, to incorporate an actual world. There's no... Like, most MMOs have the leveling diagram. You go to this place from 1 to 15, you go to this place from 15 to 23, you go to this... There's not that. I mean, even .hack had... You're in the hub, and you just go into a randomly generalized portal. I mean, that could make a good MMO.
Maybe I just want to ride off into the sunset on my posh gentleman cow.
I mean, that's if they do a .hack MMO, it would have to be in the sense of Diablo 3, where it's you can have people in the quest hub, you can have people in your friends list, and then you go into a randomly generalized area and fight your way through monsters based on your level, and just like how they did in the video game. I mean, because
that'd be
it
fine.
worked.
Yeah,
that's why 10, 15 years later, we're still talking about it at a table right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is anime games make beautiful babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for an Attack on Titan video game, because I couldn't stand giant naked dudes running at me.
That exists.
I know.
Of course.
There's a live action film exists for it too.
Oh,
that's going to be coming out.
Dear.
The game looks fun as hell too.
Like I said, I
could see it being
I could see the game being
it's
good.
It's really basic poly, but it's quite nice.
I am just. They need to put some pants on those guys. I watch.
Just one guy walking around like
they need to cover
putting pants on while he's flying around.
They're genderless.
Yeah, they need to cover up their not genitals.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Still got butts.
What's wrong with a butt?
I binged that whole. I binged every single
on a Titan.
Oh yeah.
I binged especially the ones that are walking. I mean, no one can see me, but I'm like walking around.
I know. The T-Rex arms.
Too bad nobody can see it.
Yeah, I watched. I binged that entire series available in 2 days, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Very
that
good.
and I'm waiting for a season 2.
We all are.
It's just I was
People in
so
nice
when
water.
I was going through.
All right, let's put it like this.
When I was going through the listings for what was coming out this summer for anime, I'm like, all right, waiting to see Attack on Titan, waiting to see Attack on Titan. I see Sword Art 2, and I'm like, okay, awesome, we're good. The Sailor Moon reboot, okay. Awesome. This is gonna be great. Attack on Titan.
So
nope.
Your Attack on Titan is my
Fallout 4. There you go.
Except Attack on Titan 2 is actually gonna happen.
Fallout 4 will happen. Will happen. It's just
not anytime
when.
soon.
No, they've got enough material now.
I don't know.
They've got about 54
I don't know.
chapters now.
Game Awards show may have a.
I'm thinking
24 chapters.
Bethesda is a European company. It's going to be announced at Gamescom if they do it.
I don't know. I don't know if they embrace their European heritage that much.
Maybe the fall season we'll have Attack on Titan.
I mean, let's just think we were supposed to have a Fallout MMO.
We've got a manga running out.
It'll happen, but that's probably too soon.
Where is my zombie powder return? I've been waiting so long for zombie powder to come back, and it hasn't come back.
Oh, it won't. That's what he was starting. That's what he did before Bleach.
Don't tell me that, George.
He said it outright. He said he's done.
Don't tell me that, George.
In his prime.
Maybe.
Don't tell me that, George. You were wrong about No More Sky. Don't tell me about no zombie powder. Oh my God.
Colin, let's put it this way. It's possible, actually, that after Bleach finishes, maybe he could come back to it if there's enough.
When?
It's in its last arc. So it's supposed to be another year or two.
That was.
So there is
It's
hope.
in its last arc, but then they're going to create a filler arc afterwards because that's what Bleach is.
Yeah.
Bleach
reprise.
There's actually someone stronger than the last guy that they just like. It's like
that should have ended.
That's
at
my
Ryuko
favorite.
Murdoa
That is
with
my
Ice
favorite
Fist.
thing. Okay,
I thought Super Saiyan 4 was the last Super Saiyan.
and then we got Super Saiyan God. But hey, like
Super
I said,
Saiyan 4.1.
everything from GT on doesn't exist except for Akira Toriyama kind of fucked this one up and actually made God.
Just give me more zombie power. That's all I have.
You don't get zombie power.
I mean,
I just want.
we all have their one.
I mean, hey,
we all
sign a
have
petition online, get enough people behind it, and maybe it can happen.
Should have already.
Do a Kickstarter.
Everyone has that. Yeah, Reading Rainbow. And you saw all that one. $5 million. Did anyone see that, by the way? The Kickstarter for Reading Rainbow?
No.
If you pledged $10,000 to the Kickstarter, it gets even better. You got to go to dinner with LeVar Burton, and you get to wear the visor that he wore in Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh my god.
He's got it in a chest.
I'll take 3.
Yeah.
3 instances of them stacked up.
Yeah, you just can't put it on your face once, and then you take it off.
1, 2, 3
There's
is
only
enough.
one visor. But we all have that stuff that we want. Everyone has for me, and this is completely honest, is I wanted the Star Wars movies, episodes 5 or 7, 8, and 9, to just be Star Wars: The Old Republic movies, and I can't get that.
Well, what about Thrawn trilogy?
Oh, I don't know.
It's widely accepted as the novel continuation of past 6.
But it's not canon.
I was going to say that's the problem.
Some of it has been accepted as canon, but they're throwing it out the window for the production.
Well, no. My problem is that I've watched Star Wars since I was 3. That's my bread and butter, and my favorite adaptation of it is the Old Republic series. I mean, you can go past the books, with the children of Solo and Skywalker and all that, but no, just, thousands of Jedis and Sith beating the hell out of each other on planets that I've never heard about. Yes. No Gungans. If Episode 7 doesn't start with a Gungan's head on a pike, I will leave the theater. And that's the problem,
That's
too.
not going to happen. It's being done by Disney.
I think we're past
Yeah, that definitely won't happen.
That's the problem with my relationship with my fiance. She's 3 years younger than me.
The first time he said his fiance instead of his wife.
Well, it's wife going to be in November. So
my waifu.
We're 3 years apart, and in those 3 years is the generation gap of I want Jar Jar Binks to die, and I like Jar Jar Binks.
Oh God, who likes Jar Jar Binks?
Wait, she likes Jar Jar?
Well, she grew up. She was at that age where Jar Jar was for that age when it came out.
Well, so was I. I can't stand him.
But you're
not Jar Jar Binks.
I am going to hate you.
I accept the Gungans as a race, but Jar Jar wasn't a
Now, there we go.
Now, again, it brings me back to, like I said, now I'm going to go on a whole Gungan tirade, because, the only weapons that you have as a people are used to fight droids. When the humans come to overwhelm you,
what are you going to do?
Throw those blue balls at them. What the hell is this?
I mean, they'll be able to take out their speeders, all right.
I'm just going to
run away.
Shoot you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm just going to go on a Gungan rant for a second. And I will say, I played, if anybody remembers, it was a very old...
Was it the RTS?
It was the
Star Wars RTS?
It was Age of Empires Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you could play as the Gungan race. And I will say that one of my best games is when I built 8 of those shield beasts. And I ran a Gungan army into everybody, and those orbs killed people. I don't know how. Maybe you just threw them really hard, hit someone in the skull. Maybe that's the only way you could do it. But
just slingshot, trebuchet.
You have your slingshots that are kind of close range. You can just whack them over the head with it without releasing it.
Like I said, my thing with Star Wars though is I'm a huge fan, and I'm very, very, very afraid of what they're going to do with it. I like J.J. Abrams. Didn't do me wrong.
I have confidence in it that it's going to be okay, but it's just not going to be at the same level just because Disney is the one behind it.
But
that it's not going to be there are going to be certain things that are not going to be as extreme as they should be.
Yeah.
There are going to be certain things that are going to be grazed over or
There's
not
gonna
even
be-
mentioned. Disney has that whole, we have to keep this.
But
like,
Disney also
safe.
owns Marvel.
But
Yeah,
there's-
ain't
but
done
there-
wrong with Marvel.
but there's
That's
also-
true.
That's just
But
it.
I-
You could.
But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more neck cauterizing.
Yeah. Well, well, really, people love comic book heroes, but we know that the transition to the screen is like, there's some liberties that are going to be
We
changed.
see
Whatever,
it-
and we can
we
deal
see
with
it in
that. Star
everything.
Wars fans are like, you fucking changed one part of this continuity,
We are-
and I will like come after you.
Well, that's the big thing with any book fan of any kind of lore where it's set in stone. There's no variant to this. There's no side story. You have Spider-Man, and he's got 15 million different stories going on.
You can.
Everybody's fine with whatever comes around, but you have something that came from a book series, like if you go with the Hunger Games. Not going to go too far into that one, but I mean, you change something drastically in that. Well, this is set in stone. This is a book series that was created, and you're going to change an actual aspect of the story. We're not going to be okay with that.
I'm sure all those 15-year-old girls will get over it. But
I'm just saying,
Well, I think
people
she
will
means
see
that
that
we
if
can
you do something
deeply
with
tear the
like,
shit
Lord
apart.
of the Rings, you do that with Lord of the Rings. If you were to change anything within the lore of Lord of the
Tolkien
Rings,
will rise
that's
from
going to
the grave.
piss people off. Yes,
Yeah.
he will. You do that with, if they were to do that with Game of Thrones, granted, there's
they've already started doing it with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
because
Put
the
it like-
books aren't really out.
All right, but going into comic books and books, you can change Superman's powers how many times you want to, but you fucking mess with how the Force works, people are going to get upset. So that's just that's the fine line that they have to dance around. So
Well, that's the issue that I was getting. If you change something with the Force with Star Wars, it's the same thing. If you change how the Elvish race came to be in Lord of the Rings, that's going to mess with people.
Yeah.
But you change how Spider-Man got his powers. Well, there's already 5 different
there's 5
storylines for
different
that.
variations.
People
Well,
will be like, okay, well that happened in one story arc, so that's fine.
And I could speak about this endlessly. That is why a multiverse will be much better than a singular universe any day. Because you can always say, different universe.
Right, yeah,
Alternate
exactly.
reality.
This is the movie universe of
that's
Marvel,
the-
and this is the
Because
comic,
people,
and this
it's,
is
it's
zombie.
that adaptation that people are like, no, this already exists. You can't change it.
Okay, I agree. I'm so worried.
It'll be okay.
I don't think so.
It won't be as good as 4, 5, and 6, but it won't be as bad as 1.
It'll be better than 1, 2, and 3.
That's all we can hope for at this point.
I think we can pretty much
Sweet,
say it's safe to say it'll be better than 1, 2, and 3.
sweet justice, though, for all hardcore fans of Star Wars. If no one figured it out yet, Harrison Ford broke his leg on the set. So maybe he'll be retracting some of those "I hated playing Han Solo" things a little bit now.
Hover wheelchair.
That's karma. Karma crushing.
Professor X.
Karma crushing his foot like a Millennium Falcon door.
Are you
Red
kidding?
Playing Han Solo.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Harrison Ford doesn't like Han Solo. He doesn't like the character of Han Solo. He'd rather play Indiana Jones than Han Solo, but everyone loves him as Han Solo. But
Wow.
he just, and it's a kind of like a shot at his fans because they're all
Yeah.
like, well, I really
Some of the
didn't like
biggest
playing.
fans out there.
Which is why everyone was kind of surprised when he said he was going to play Han Solo, but then we were all kind of
Money.
like, okay, Disney's
Right.
giving him money.
Gotta make that money.
Yeah.
Gotta make that Disney money.
And anyone else notice how not fat and ugly Mark Hamill looks now? I remember watching a clip of him at the 2012 Video Game Awards, and he looked like
Death.
a tiny fat Elton John.
Yeah, it was bad. I was like,
Really
that's
bad.
Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
We...
He looked like he took a Wampa paw to the face.
Yeah, he looked awful. He just looked terrible. So, I mean, money.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I love Star Wars. It's going to be incorporated into my wedding, and I'm debating. I have 2 cakes I'm debating on as a groom's cake. I've got the Han Solo frozen in carbonite cake, or the cut up open dead tauntaun cake, and I just can't decide which one I want more.
I think the dead tauntaun would have more cake.
And it would smell good.
Yeah. It smell like cake.
It smell like cake.
Yeah.
But I've seen both.
And you can hide inside it.
Oh my God.
That is a lot. That is not enough.
That's where the stripper can go.
Yeah.
Dead tauntaun.
Then she can
cake.
burst out of it.
All the way.
No, if I was going to get a stripper bursting out of any cake, it would be an R2-D2 cake. Like a life-size R2-D2 cake.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to conclude the first podcast pretty long, so we might divide it up into 2 parts. So.
As always, thank you for clicking all the necessary buttons to get here. Thank you very much for your time. We love you. We love all 5 of you.
Thank you so much.
6 if my mother listens.
Yes.
Your mother.
My mother. It's a Jewish mother thing. I have to be at least some.
I love your mom.
All right, guys. So this is the Pixeludo podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
Again,
next
I am
time.
Colin.
Peace out.
Yeah, George.
Danny.
Allie.
And AJ.
We'll see you
Signing
next time,
off.
guys.